What I'm going to do is a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of performing, hopefully showing you some things that make you scratch your head, and telling you about a family member of mine.
Oh, yeah. Do you need any volunteers this evening?
I do. I need at least 2. 3 would be better, but I can go with 2 if need be.
All right, so we're going to keep, if anyone else is out there and wants to join in, don't be nervous because you're a magician. We don't care. So just jump in. There's plenty of people in the chat room. They're just not jumping into the Zoom link. The link is in the Zoom chat. It is also in the description. Click on the link and jump in as a volunteer. We have some volunteers in already. It's still Stephanie and Sean. I'm sure they'll be glad to continue helping us out. And I'm here as well if you need me.
Great. Well, I'm ready if you are.
All right, we're ready.
All right, terrific. Well, I want to start by thanking all of you who are watching for being here with me doing a show in my living room. This is only the second time I've done this, and I learned from the first one that it's a good idea to wear pants, especially when that camera is right at crotch level. So thankfully for all of you, I am wearing pants tonight. If you want the pants-free show, that is later, and it is not free. Anyway, we'll move on. As I said, stop, what are you doing throwing stuff at me? Sorry, that's my girlfriend. Apparently she wants attention, but she told me to look for other ways to bring in money. Anyway, I guess the pants-free show wasn't a approved way to bring in money. Anyway, I am a mind reader, and I'm going to do my best to try to read minds over the internet. I'm going to see if I can do that. So as I'm scanning everyone out there, I'm seeing that roughly, no, not roughly, precisely, 53.5% of you think that I'm totally full of crap, right? Proof that I'm a mind reader. Now, I'll do this every show I do, and most of the audiences, they're not quite as skeptical as you guys, so I have a harder hurdle to overcome tonight. Now, there's a smaller percentage of you who are wondering, or actually worried, that perhaps I can read minds, and you're worried that I'll reveal your deepest, darkest secrets. I would not do that on the internet for the sake of entertainment, but I will keep quiet for money. There's those coffee links where you can drop some money in, so, you know, that might be a good idea. There are a smaller number of you who are wondering if I'm single. Well, I'm pretty sure she just answered that question for you, but you know, she's out. Go, I'm doing a show. All right, good. She's out of the room. Anyway, while she's out of the room, I mean, this is the time of COVID, and everyone has a price, and it's a lot less now. So drop some money in that coffee link, and just don't tell her, shh, and maybe you'll get a date out of this too. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the show. I want you to think about tonight kind of like maybe your first kiss. It might have been a little strange. You might have not known what to expect, but if you just sit back and enjoy it, maybe it's something that will be both wonderful and something that you'll remember for a very long time. So people do ask me, how did I get into this? How did I start in the realm of entertainment, and particularly the kind of magic that I do? And I will tell you, the devil has nothing to do with it anymore. He proved to be very unreliable. No, mine started with family. And during this time right now of COVID-19, you've probably gotten to spend a lot of time with family, and maybe you want to murder your spouse or put your children up for adoption, or maybe you've had a lot of good times with Netflix and chill, and maybe you're adding to that family a little bit like I did with 2. No, not kids, just puppies. We got 2 puppies, that's all. But family is where this all started for me. I need to tell you a story. I love this. It's when I was 10 years old. My dad came to me and said that we were going to meet an old family. I didn't even know that this woman existed before I was 10 years old. See, she was a fortune teller in Boston, Massachusetts, and my dad is a Baptist minister. So Baptist ministers don't tell you about the crazy mind-reading black sheep great aunt who lives in Boston. But once she retired, I guess mom and dad considered her safe at that point in time. So they told me that we were going to go meet her, and I said, nah, I'm not going to go meet some old lady. I imagined that she would leave lipstick on me and smell funny, and they told me, yes, you are going to go see her. So we got in the van and we drove to a restaurant, and I assumed it would be something like Golden Corral since it was an old lady, but no, we went to a very nice restaurant. That was the first surprise. It was summertime, so we were sitting out in the van waiting on her to get there. And I noticed this black Cadillac pull in, chrome trim on it. And this woman got out who was in a perfectly cut, very stylish black dress. She had on a black hat, her sunglasses, and then she waved at mom and dad. I could not believe that this was the woman that we were going to meet. So she came up to meet me and she bent down to my level. She said, "Hello, my name is Ruby." And when she leaned in, she didn't kiss me all over like I expected. She did the European style, cheek to cheek, with her lips close to my ear. And when they were there, she said, "It's in you." I was kind of freaked out. It's in me. What does she mean? It's in me. What's in me? Again, I said my dad was a preacher, so it had me really weirded out. Was it demons? Was it the devil? What was it? So we went in the restaurant and sat to eat, and I kept thinking, it's in me. It's in me. What does that mean? And then I thought, she probably didn't even say that. And she turned and looked at me and went, "I said it," and went back and talked to mom and dad as if nothing had ever happened. I thought this was really mind-blowing and strange, what's going on. And I couldn't wrap my head around what was happening. And then she just said, "I think Paul should come and stay with me for a week." Mom and dad looked at me and I said, "Okay." So we went and packed the bag and then got on the road, a long drive up to her house. And we stopped along the way and got some drinks and some food. And I said, "Were you really a fortune teller?" And she said, "I was." And I said, "You must have done really cool stuff and met cool people, and crazy things must have happened. And do you have a story?" And I want to share one of those stories with you that she told to me. She said one night she was sitting in her office. She had a proper fortune telling parlor, and she had a door with a frosted glass panel, and she saw the outline of a man. It was right before closing time. She heard a knock on the door and told him to come in. And right away, the man struck her as off. Something was wrong. Looking at his aura, it just wasn't right. And so she asked him, "What's your name?" And he said, "I don't want to talk. I just want you to tell my fortune." And so she pulled out 3 tarot cards. She wanted to do something quick and easy so that she didn't have to spend much time with it. The first one that she pulled out was the Wheel of Fortune, second Wheel of Fortune, and lastly, the Death card. 2 positives, one that could be seen as negative. And she said, "We all take a ride on the Wheel of Fortune, and hopefully we have a lot of fun before we meet our ultimate fate." She told him to select what he wanted, and he said he wanted the bottom card. And she showed the bottom card was the Death card. Now, at this point, the guy freaked out. She goes, "No, it's not literally death." And he said, I don't care. I don't want that card. That's not the one I want." And she said, "It's not a bad card." He said, "I don't care. I want the top card." She showed him the top card, and it too was the Death card. Now, at this point, she was a little freaked out as well. She didn't understand what was going on. And then he said, "No, I don't want that one. I want the middle card." She pulled out the middle card, and it too was the Death card. At that point, the man did run out, slammed the door behind him, and my great aunt locked up and went home. She had a troubled sleep that night, trying to figure out what exactly had happened. And the next morning, she sat down for her breakfast, sipped her coffee, and looked in the newspaper. And then it all made sense. Saw that man, his face there in the picture. His name was Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler. This guy was a mass murderer. Then it made sense. She kept looking for the Wheel of Fortune, and all she could find was death, because she was in the presence of the devil. And that was the first story that she shared with me. And I was absolutely transfixed, not only by her story, but by the images on those cards. And I wanted to know more. So on that ride, we talked about a lot of things. And my great aunt explained to me that she believed that there was this alternative plane of existence, this thing that she called the etheric plane. And if you could enter the etheric plane, then really you could do virtually anything. It would be like moving forward in time, moving back in time. If you can enter the etheric plane, then the internet is really no stumbling block or anything that stands in between us even. So I do want to use one of our volunteers. Was it Sean, I believe?
Good thing.
Is that right?
Yes, Sean.
All right, Sean. Good, Sean, I'm glad we have you on. And Sean, I believe I heard earlier you live in Florida, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and we have not met before,
No, we haven't.
correct?
We have not.
But if I come to Florida, I now have a place. What's that?
Yeah, you got a place down here.
Sweet. All right. So making connections. All right. I love it. So I'm going to try to make another connection with you, Sean. All right. What I want you to do is think about the person who's most important to you. Don't tell me who they are. Just think about the first person that pops in your head that's the most important person to you. All right. And then I just want you to give me their initials. What are the initials of that person?
TK.
TK. All right. TK. And I want you to think about TK. Think about how this person, who this person is, what their age is. And I'm going to do my best to try to pick up on some things. It's kind of hard over the internet, especially when I can't see you. But TK, this is a family member, yes?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And this person feeling like it's a female, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, very good. TK and family member. I feel like I picked up on some things there, female family member. But here's the thing. Before we even started, I tried to connect with you. Obviously, I knew that you were on because I was watching earlier, and I don't mean connect with you as in reach out and text you or email you or anything like that, but just connect with you mentally. And you see, I made a prediction, so to speak. I want to show you, I've got an envelope. You can see there, it's sealed up, and I put a prediction in it as I was watching you. And it had to do with what was going to happen tonight. And Sean, I want to show you what I did. Sealed envelope. And I had a feeling that the initials named would be TK. So who is TK? What's the first name?
Tommy.
Tell Tommy I read your mind. Is that your brother?
No, it's actually my mother.
Your mother. All right. Tell her that I read your mind tonight. How about that? So maybe we're getting somewhere here. Maybe there is some connection that can be made over the internet. Maybe through this idea of moving through different dimensions. Now, one of the things that my great aunt had a great interest in as well was mediums, the idea of being able to contact the dead. And I've got some of the tools here that mediums would have used. These are simple slates that kids would have used in school. And in the Victorian era, mediums often used these in their attempts to reach the other side. Now, if my great aunt's theory is right, that you can actually move back and forth through these parallel dimensions, then maybe she can give us a sign tonight. And I have another item I would like to use. It's just a simple bell and a stamp. So maybe if she's here or contacts us at some point, she can ring that bell and let us know. So I want to move on. I spent that first summer there with that great aunt, and she taught me all kinds of things. A lot of what she taught me were by way of games, or at least that's what I thought they were. But I started to realize that these games weren't actually games. These were her attempts to develop these abilities, this idea that you can move back and forth between these various planes. And I want to play one of these games with you guys out there. Vince, do we have a third person, or are we just Stephanie and Sean right now?
We got you got me, Stephanie, and Sean.
Well, I'll work with all three of you then. I want to work with this idea of being able to send and receive information across the internet, because I think that can help maybe back up her claims. So I want everyone to play along. I want you to just close your eyes. I want you to breathe in deeply. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Continue to do that as you listen to the sound of my voice. You can open your eyes if you want. I just want you to be totally relaxed. I want you to be in the moment right now. Don't worry about what you have to do later tonight or tomorrow or at any other time. Just be in the moment right now, because not only am I going to try to pick up on things from you, but I want you to try to pick up on things from me as well, and see if we can do this over the internet. So what I want to do first is I'm going to write down a location, because I'm assuming you guys haven't played psychic games except for Vince. Obviously you have. I'm going to write down a location. This is some place that won't be as obvious as like your house, but it won't be as obscure as, say, like Mittwald, Germany. So it's going to be a place that'll be familiar to you. Now, this comes across to different people in different ways. It may come across to you as, say, a smell, like maybe the beach or the clean mountain air. It might look very visual, like a postcard. or it may come across as just big letters that are written. Everyone receives information differently, and that's okay, no matter how you receive the information. I just want you to be open to it. So I've already written down my location, and I'm going to try to send this out to you guys in 3, 2, 1. I've sent that out. And Vince, did a particular location come to mind for you?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, what was it? Go ahead. I've already written down what I tried to send.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay, very good. So that was the first part of our little game that we would play, is I would try to send information to her, as I've tried to send it to all of you. Now, you guys are basically going to play the role of my great aunt. So I'm going to ask you to send something to me. So what I want you to do is think about childhood. Childhood's a good one. There's a lot of strong emotion tied up in childhood. And I want you to think about your favorite gift when you were a kid. Now, perhaps you got it for Christmas. If you celebrated Christmas, think about everything surrounding that time. Maybe there's crackling wood in the fireplace, the smell of a pine tree in the living room, or cookies in the oven. I want you to really strongly connect with that feeling. Or perhaps it was a gift you got on your birthday, and just think about the excitement of having the party and the friends over and all of that the next day. I just really want you to focus in on the feelings and emotions and that gift, whatever that one gift was. And I want everyone, not out loud, but mentally over the internet, to send that to me in 3, 2, 1. Send it now. And I think I picked up on it. This one's always difficult, but I think I got it. I've committed it to writing. It's sitting right there as well. Stephanie, did you have a particular gift you were thinking of?
Yeah, it's not a memory,
Yeah, what
but
was
yes, it was a Teddy Ruxpin.
What was it?
It was a Teddy Ruxpin, a little
Okay.
hockey Teddy.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So yeah, that's an unusual one, not something I would expect, but that's fine. That creates more of a challenge. Now, the final thing is something that no one could actually know. And I've got some items here that all belong to that great aunt. I figure if we're going to try to bring her here and see if she can give us a sign of her presence, then maybe we ought to use some items that belong to her. So I'm going to pull some of those items out and share them with you. Okay, we got plenty of space here. I was checking my camera to see what everything looked like. All right, so I'll share what these items are. We have an old key. This is actually the key to her study at her house. I got that after she passed. This is a little leather-bound book that's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. If you haven't read it, you should. It's awesome. If you want the really short version, there's an Iron Maiden song that pretty much tells the story. You can go that route too. I like both of them. I have a pendulum that belonged to her. A little compact, has a little mirror in it. Unfortunately, all the rouge is gone, but it's a pretty little compact there. And then finally, one of her handkerchiefs. Any lady in the South has to have a handkerchief because you never sweat, you just get dewy, and you need to make sure you can take care of that. So, all right, and our third spectator, who do we have, Vince?
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I just worked with Stephanie. Okay, great. Sean, I'm going to have you help out with this. And you can see the items here in front of me, right?
Yes.
I want you to select 2 of those items. Tell me what the 2 items are you're selecting.
The pendulum and the key.
Pendulum and the key. So here's how our little game worked. And before we get into the whole thing, actually, I'm going to ask you to change your mind in just a minute because I didn't make my final prediction. I'm making my final prediction. So I'm going to mix these up and have you make different choices just to see if anything comes out differently. Okay, what 2 items would you like me to touch? Or you can stay the same if you want. I don't care.
Let's go with the handkerchief and the pendulum.
Handkerchief and pendulum. Okay, I'm going to give you another choice. Out of those 2, which one would you like to get rid of?
The handkerchief.
Very good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch two items, and you can see me, but I'll still say what they are. We have the pendulum and the rhyme of the ancient mariner. Pendulum and rhyme of the ancient mariner. And I'll let you make another choice, Sean. Which one of those do you want to get rid of?
The pendulum.
Pendulum. All right. Now, imagine you can touch two items, Sean. Which two would you touch?
The rhyme of the ancient mariner and the key.
And the key. Now, I'm going to make a choice for once, and I'm going to get rid of the rhyme of the ancient mariner. And the final one is yours. If you could pick up one of those items that's left, which one would you pick up?
It would definitely be the key.
The key. That's what you would pick up.
Yes.
Do you want to change your mind? Do you want to change your mind on that?
Nope. I like the key.
Okay. Very good. So imagine you're holding that key in your hand. Now I want to go through briefly what we talked about. The first thing was I tried to send a location to everyone. The second is you tried to send a gift to me. And finally, we had some random items, but I guess they weren't so random. They all belong to my great aunt. But you made a lot of choices, Sean. You could have changed your mind. That's what you stuck with, was the key. Now, the first place that we did was the location. This is where I hope to go next. Hopefully this stuff will be over and I will be in Baltimore for the convention Vince is putting on, and that will be my next trip. So Baltimore is indeed what I wrote down. Now you could assume that maybe I would assume that with Vince, but the next one, this is kind of weird, Stephanie. I'm not familiar with Teddy Ruxpin. Did this thing have like a cassette in it or something?
Yeah, it read books to you. Uh-huh.
I put cassette bear. Is that pretty darn
yeah,
close?
that's pretty close.
Cassette
Yeah.
bear. That's why it was really strange to me. And then finally, Sean, you could have changed your mind out of all those items, but I had a feeling the one you would stick with would be the key. So this is how we played these psychic games. Now, the final thing I want to do is see if we can actually call my great aunt here. I want to see if we can ask her to show herself. Ruby, if you're here, can you give us any kind of a sign? Can you show us something? Just let us know you're here, please. We have people from all over the internet watching. You always said that this is no problem. I would say that's a pretty clear sign. I just want to see if she left us a message. And she did. I'm here always. One of the things that my great aunt left me that I thought was a wonderful gift is the idea that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Consider the fact that you saw the impossible tonight all night long, but yet you experienced it, you saw it, which means it's not impossible. It means impossibility is just a narrow way of thinking. She told me that I could do anything I set my mind to, and because of you guys, I'm able to sit in my living room and do magic shows. That's a gift she gave me, and one I hope to give you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Back to
you, Paul.
Vince. You're welcome.